Hello YouTube, Jerry Kirkpatrick here, and I know that it's been quite a while, about 4 months since I put out my last video, but I would say close to none of it is my fault. A friend of mine back at the end of August posted on Facebook that he had purchased a 8 by 10 plastic tool shed that he had erected out in his backyard. And after looking around my property here, I noticed that I didn't have a tool shed at all. So immediately I had to rush over to the lumber yard and purchase a 10 by 10, much bigger than his. Then the only place that I had to erect a 10 by 10 shed was out in the east pasture right next to the camper shell that I had made for my 1-ton dually and the camper shell that I have for the truck that I'm driving now. And if you take a look at the sky above the 56 here with all the blackberries growing over it, you'll see that the sky is blue. So it took me approximately 2 weeks to get all of the blackberries cut away from the 56, get some tires on it, and get it moved over to the north fence. And you can see the smoke up in the sky right between the trees there up in the upper left corner. Well, the smoke was so bad on September 8th, this is what the sky looked like. It was almost none whatsoever. It was almost like nighttime. So after I got the truck moved over, I used my box scraper and backblading some. I got the area around where I wanted to place the shed all cleared out and leveled off. And then I put down the forms for the base, for the foundation for the 10 by 10 shed. I figured since I was going to have some concrete poured, I may as well go ahead and pour a slab out in front of my shop, the south end of the shop, the big doors that I use all the time. I had a small ramp placed there just out of dirt, and it worked fairly well, but you really had to, I either had to use my tractor or my truck to pull a car up in there. So I decided that I would put a 20 by 20 slab out in front of the shop, which is at the same height as the floor of the shop. So while I was putting the foundation in around the front of the shop there, I had to get a transfer truck of 3/4 inch base rock to do all the fill work in the place where the slab was going to be poured. So I figured since I was going to have a nice 20 by 20 slab out in front of the shop, I may as well have a 4-post hoist. At the day that we had the concrete poured, it wasn't too bad with the smoke. You can see the sky is fairly clear, but still we could only work like an hour, maybe an hour and a half at a time. And after the concrete was poured, The next morning, I started putting down the rest of the 3/4 inch base rock as a ramp to get up onto the slab. And here you can see Lee compacting the ramp as it was put up. We did the same thing with the slab. All of the base rock that we put in for fill under the slab was compacted about every 3 or 4 inches. So I took my truck, hooked it up to the Jeep, and pulled it up onto the slab, and the truck didn't even know it was there. It's such a long, shallow incline that it takes almost nothing to get up onto the slab. At about this same time, my son down in Southern California, his company went on to a 2-week on, 2-week off scenario because of the COVID down there. So just about the same time I got the slab and ramp done, he came up for the first of his 2-week stint. And the first thing we did was erect the shed, just so I could take a picture of it and send it to my friend just to show him that mine was better. That took us about 2 days to get that done, and then we started working on the hoist. I laid out tape on the slab, placed the 4 posts, and then started putting in the ramps and such. And with having the forklift on the back of the tractor and the bucket on the front, it really made that job a lot easier. It just went together. We got that done in one morning. And then in the afternoon, we turned it 90 degrees and put it right in front of the shop door. And Galen started doing the electric and the air. It has pneumatic latches on it, so you have to hook up air to actuate the latches, and obviously the hydraulic ram is powered by this power pack on one of the legs, so he did all the plumbing on that. After we got the plumbing and the pneumatics done on the hoist, we rolled the Jeep up on it and then raised it and lowered about 3 or 4 times. And then we started adjusting the cables to make it level. And the latches, there's a ladder in each leg. So we started adjusting the latches, lacking mechanism, so it would, all of the 4 latches would clack at the same time, time them, I guess you could say. So for 2 weeks he was here, went back home for 2 weeks. During that 2 weeks, it took me all that time just to clean the area up, get rid of all the form boards, get the shop back together, and that's when the majority of my wholesale accounts knocked in for Christmas presents. I got an account in North Carolina, Wisconsin, Montana, and Arizona. So during my time off, I got a lot of product made and shipped out, and then it was time for Galen to come back up for another 2 weeks. Spent that 2 weeks working on the Jeep, and I'll be showing you some of the bracketry that we made for that, for the emergency brake, alternator, just a lot of stuff that we have to do to get that thing going. Then the next 2 weeks were spent more product, getting it out, and that took us pretty much just to this point here. I sent my last boxes out just before Christmas, so my wholesale accounts could get their product out to their customers. So that is what's taken me just about 4 months, just those few items, but they were big. One of the other things, just after Christmas, I went down to Home Depot and purchased one of those vacuum toppers. And if you've ever considered using one of those or getting one of those, I would say do it. It makes a heck of a lot of difference with the suction of the vacuum, and you never have to empty another bag. My next project here in the shop, the next one I'll be doing a video on, is I went and got a 880-pound hoist. I purchased it primarily to use it horizontally to pull vehicles up on the hoist just outside the door. It's a 110 unit, forward, reverse. I'm going to make a bracket for the bottom that I can hook up inside the shop and then pull some kind of vehicle up the ramp onto the 4-post so I can work on it. But where it's going to live is where my old come-along is now. I've used it up there for many, many years. I've picked up the midget to put it on the dolly for working here in the shop. I don't know how many motors I've pulled with it, but in order to get up that high enough to get the motor over the core support, I have to get on a ladder to work the handle, and sometimes it's kind of scary. So with this and the hand control, I can be well away from the vehicle and pull motors and pull cars onto the 4-post hoist. After I get a few more brackets made on the Jeep, I'm going to start nickel plating, copper nickel. And almost all of the YouTube videos I've seen on nickel plating, everybody's using little mason jars or some type of round vessel to do their plating, and I don't like that. I think a rectangle or square vessel to put your plating solution in is the way to go, because you can have your anodes out on the side. If they're in a round vessel, that constricts the area that your anodes can be placed in. So, excuse me, if you are interested in or want to do some copper and nickel plating and you want to follow along as I'm doing it, I would suggest you rush right out and get some Milano cookies from Costco. It's a nice rectangle, actually square container, and the lid snaps on quite nicely. So when you're finished plating, snap the lid on, put it away, and you're done. What do they call these? Biscottis. This is a little bit larger container, but it's a different kind of plastic. I'm not sure whether this will take the heat. The solution should be close to 200 degrees, maybe 150 or so. I know this vessel will accept that kind of heat. I'm not sure about this flexi one, but I don't care. I'm going to eat these anyway. And I don't know how long it's going to be before I get to the plating, but if I were you, I'd just go out and get them anyway. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you later.